Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by MMA veteran Jeremiah Riggs. Jeremiah, how are you?
Hey man, what's up? How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Jeremiah, your last fight was last week at Bellator 70, and
that's right.
It was a controversial stoppage on a Kimura, but early in the fight you looked really good. The first round you threw some combinations that looked good. You threw a body kick. Let's start in that first round. What were your thoughts of the first round of the fight?
Coming out in the first round, I initially, of course, going to do just like everybody else knows I'm going to do. I'm going to try to take the center of the cage. I mean, that's just my style. I want to, as soon as the bell rings, we touch gloves, whatever. I mean, I'm right there in the middle. I think, my fight's that's where I want to meet. I want to meet in the middle. I don't want to have to chase you all over me and do all that, which I know there's some people that's just their style. But with me, I want to stand and put on a fight for the fans. That's what they want to see. They want to see people fight. That's kind of what I was leaning to. To really feel him out at first. Try to get his timing down. I knew that going into the fight, I knew he was going to be quick. I knew he was going to be fast. But I knew that if I kept that pressure on him, it would keep him from doing as much running around, and that's kind of what I didn't want to play into his game. So in the first fight, I thought it went real well. I mean, I controlled the pace of the fight. I landed my combinations, got my takedowns. Really won the first round. I actually did exactly everything that I wanted to do.
Was your game plan to take him to the ground? Because, like I said, your stand-up looked really, really good.
My game plan, I never told anybody, now that's fighter, but my biggest thing was to like I said, I'd actually hurt my knee. I was actually, my left knee was injured in that fight. If you could tell along the fight after he threw a couple of kicks, if you really watched him, I really was shaking off a lot on them kicks. Of course, then in the second round when he set me on my ass, that it hurt. I actually banged my knee up the week prior with a bottle, last hard training stage, a defending takedown, and actually run off the mat and run my knee into the ground on our other floor. So I was, I kind of did as much rehab as I could, but that was what I was trying to stay away from was, them kicks. I knew going in, I watched his fight. I mean, Kelvin, had a hell of a kick, and the first two really almost sealed the deal for me on, hey, look, I can't really stand up too much and go at this pace, or I'm gonna get my ass dusted. So that's really what I was thinking. So I was like, okay, well, let's pick my shots, stand up, put my combinations into my shots, which that's where you saw me later in the round go into was trying to put him at bay and get them takedowns, and but not just necessarily hold him. I mean, he was a tough kid. I mean, Kelvin, if you could see, it took me, it was quite a chore kicking down because he's a strong guy, and I wasn't trying to just hold him, there, but I was trying to, get him into a position that I wanted to be in, and he caused a good little problems there at first, just because, I could get the takedown, but he was quick on getting up. So, the game plan was simply just, hey, let's just beat him up, just, ground and pound, let's just do that. That way, but if he does get back to his feet and I can't get a takedown, back up, throw for combinations, try to stay away from the kick, and just keep doing what we were doing. Of course, I wasn't, it happened so fast, I went to push that knee down I wanted to get side control, and as soon as I did that, before I knew it, he just reached over and went for the Kimura, which, it happened so fast, I was like, dang dumb, now I got to get out of this, because I knew that the rounds were coming to a close.
Later in the fight, towards the middle of the second round, early third round, it looked like you had slowed down a little. Were you tired, or was it those leg kicks in your knee that kind of caught up with you?
No, I actually, I had a real good camp for this fight. I mean, I had a lot of wind. I felt real good. I was really pacing myself, but then again, I wasn't so much on my toe. I really didn't have that bounce, that like I did in the first round. After that last leg kick, dude, I ain't gonna lie, man, it took a lot out of me. I was like, man, this is gonna suck. I just knew I could take too many of them leg kicks because, if I can't stand up, I can't fight. That's like I said, that's why I was leaning more towards my wrestling, was to try to keep the damage off my knee, for sure.
Now, the ending of the fight was a verbal submission. How much trouble were you in at the end of the fight? Were you hearing stuff, popping? What exactly was going on in there?
Well, I'm not the one to try to be like a super tough guy, and I'm glad I actually, I get a chance to do this interview with you, because I've actually had a lot of people, it's controversial when people are like, oh, well, he was in a bad position, I think he should have made it. Truthfully, there's going to be, if you know anything about submissions, anytime you put in a submission, you're going to have some tension, you're going to have some type of, and then the movement, you're not going to feel comfortable in that position. I was not comfortable. He was torquing it, but I wasn't in as bad as trouble as you could look at on video. I'm pretty flexible, and the only grunting and noises I was making, there was some pain there, but it was not enough pain for me to say, okay, I'm fixing to get my arm broke. I need to, he's got it. Congratulations. I'm the first one to tell you, I'm not one of these guys who's gonna say, oh, I'm not gonna tap out. If someone's close to breaking my arm or whatever off, I know that I ain't not gonna be able to fight or somewhere, I'm not gonna there's two things I'm not gonna let anybody do. I'm not gonna let anybody injure me where I can't fight anymore or break my arm or whatever, and I'm surely not gonna let anybody choke me out to sleep, because that's two things. I'm not gonna be putting on someone's highlight video. If you got me, you got me. That's just the name of the game. It'd be no more, hey, I really have pride in myself by never being knocked out. That's what I call a big finish. If I get caught, you're going to see me get up with a smile on my face and say, damn, I got caught. If someone puts me in a submission and I tap out because I know that there's no getting out and I'm not going to get my arm broke, hey, man, I'm going to give it 2 minutes. Look at me in my fight against Trey Houston. There was a second there where, I was trying, I was stuck. I was going to try to roll out of it. But, my arm actually popped twice, and I was like, I'm hollering and tapping, y'all let me go. That, to me, it was a controversial stoppage, because if you listen to even in the audio that they play, you can hear me go, ugh! You could hear that the whole 4 or 5 times I was rolling out the other Kimura. There was tension on my arm, don't get me wrong, but I was tired. We're in the third round. We got a minute and 20 seconds to go. If I would have been in that position, I would have tapped out and told him, okay. But the rules meeting was very clear. They went against the rules meeting. The rules meeting in the back was clear that, hey, guys, we've been having problems with submission victories. People been complaining that, they're not tapping out. Some people give them light taps and people let go, and it can win the fight. They specific notice, we're not going to stop the fight. If you're getting submitted, you need to make it verbally. I tap, I quit. You need to make it certain that's what you want to do is tap out. And if you can tap, make it, big taps. I quit, I tap, I submit, whatever. We're not going to, play this little baby game. They said if you're not tapping out, I will double check and make sure, hey, are you okay? I never got a warning. I never got, hey, are you okay, Jeremiah? I don't think I got enough, even if it was just 1 or 2 seconds left, even if he would have got it or not got it. I don't think I got just that little bit of time that allowed me to either tap or get out of it. You know, I think I was shortchanged. Everybody in Bellot, after the fight, the only thing that made me really feel better, I was thanking Bjorn for giving me the opportunity to be back in Bellator, and this was the conversation we had. He was like, you didn't tap me. I said, no, I didn't. He said, yeah, that happens. You get bad calls. He's like, unfortunately, I think you got a bad call called on you. I said, hey, man, it happens. It sucks, because, that's your win money, your bonus, man. That's just right out the door for a fight you had won, You can't knock the other guy. Kevin did exactly what he was doing, so I'm not saying, pointing at him like, he got lucky. He did what he had to do, but it was just unfortunately that, I got unlucky, and the ref or doctor, whoever stopped the fight, thought I was in, I verbally submitted. A verbal submission's not a grunt when, I was trying to literally get up or, walk the cage or walk out of the submission.
Jeremiah, to me, this fight, it feels like an L, not a loss. Obviously on your record it goes as a loss, but you did a lot of things really good, and the stoppage, controversial, whatever you want to call it. But how do you feel about the fight? Do you feel that it's a loss and it's bad, or is it an L? Meaning, go ahead.
I'm not taking this fight, and I'm not trying to push. I'm not taking this fight as a loss. I know it's an L against me on my record, but I've literally watched this fight 3 or 4. Probably 5 times. I actually watched it an hour ago before you even called me. I was sitting there going, damn, man. I was just on the phone with Mike Pierce while ago trying to pin. I did not realize that I was tagging his ass. I did not in the fight. It almost seemed like, damn, I can't get his timing. But I was putting the shots where it counted. I was like, man, I look like a totally different fighter. I actually shot myself watching the fight. To myself, I was like, man, everything we worked on in camp, everything, there was some stuff that, I probably could have put better, something, a couple of the takedowns, I could have done this, but everything that we worked on, it just flowed right perfect. And, I thought that was one hell of a fight. I thought, hell, we had damn near the best fight, or, if not the best fight on the whole card. I give the fans what they want to see. I'm a fight for Bellator as hard as I can fight and give them what they're paying me to do. Whether it goes to a judge, I'm not trying to go to a judge's decision, but I'm just trying to fight, finish fights, and make fights exciting to where, hey man, I'm getting paid, and I'm getting called back to do what I love to do.
What's next for you? Is Bellator? Do you still have a contract with them? Are they going to have you back? Where do you see?
No, I still have another fight with Bellator, so I know we're going to be, I'm sure, in negotiations with that fight coming up, and seeing what falls down the road. To see. I know a lot of people have been asking Bjorn and everybody. Hey, what about Jeremiah going with TNA and staying with y'all? I know that's something that I don't know. I would love for them to give me a shot, considering that, I know that they're going to try to do the crossover with King Mo, and I wish him the best, but, I'd like, to point out that, hey, they got the #1 prospect to do the best crossover, I think, sitting right here at their doorstep, and they almost, so I don't know if they know or they choose to ignore that, but, hey, that's business, they make the business decisions on what they think is best, and but I know that they have been asked about, what about Jeremiah Riggs and TNA, and I think, coming from the WWE and killing it like I did, I think I'm the #1 prospect for it.
You don't strike me as the kind of guy who would be into pro wrestling, because pro wrestling is scripted. You feel like a real fighter. Like that's the kind of the vibe I get from you. And I've seen you. You were on The Ultimate Fighter. You were on Days of Love. I watched that show religiously. You don't feel like the kind of guy who would be into pro wrestling. What drew you to that?
Yeah, no, man. That's just my personality, man. I'm a real. I'm a character in myself. I don't have to. I think that's one of the things that why people love me on Tough Enough, and why I did so well and everything I do is just, I'm gonna shoot you straight. I'm gonna be real, and that's something that you don't see a lot. And for you got people that play their there. I'm just going to play me, you know.
You retired from MMA to do pro wrestling. Why did you decide to come back?
Man, you know, I never, you know, just formally said, you know, hey, you know, I'm not going to turn my back on what got me everywhere. I just, you know, was looking at bigger opportunities in my career and to see where it got me, you know. And, you know, hey, we kind of come to a halt, and shit, Bellator made it right, you know. And why not come back? You know, it's not like I was sitting. I mean, I was kind of just sitting on the shelf recovering and learning new stuff. So it just felt at the right time. And then, you know, hey, you don't ever want to pass up any opportunities. No, I'm not going to do that.
Like I said, you were on Days of Love. I watched that show, you know, the entire season. What was that experience like?
Man, that was just one of them good experiences that teach you, you know, just a different side of the world and reality TV and stuff like that. So I mean, it helped a lot. You know, to get my face out there. You know, meet new people and just kind of how to you know, see what happens behind the scenes and home scenes on all these kind of deals, and just kind of, it almost helped me just, you know, be aware of what I'm capable of and what actually is out there that you can do to keep your career going.
Is 12-Pack, is he the easiest guy you've ever fought?
Yeah, I probably have to say, yeah, you know, that he is.
I mean, I thought it was crazy how they did the whole MMA thing. Were you like, are you serious? Like, you want me to fight a guy who, you know, really doesn't have any fighting experience, or were you like, okay, that'll be an easy win to pick up?
I was just kind of like, all right, whatever, man, you know, this is what it is. I really didn't think too much into it.
Are you friends with any of those guys that were on the show? Do you keep in contact with any of them?
Yeah, man, yeah, I keep in contact with a bunch of guys that from all the shows that I've done. You know, I always keep in contact with people and see how they're doing, and, you know, just kind of be back and forth. Or, you know, I've even gone, you know, out of town and visited them, and, you know, hung out and stuff like that all the time.
It's kind of a weird dynamic, that show, because you're competing for one girl, so the guys that you're hanging out in the house, like The Ultimate Fighter, that's weird because you got to fight these guys, but with Days of Love, you're competing for one girl. How weird is that dynamic in the entire show?
Yeah, I mean, it's all kind of, you're just kind of like, damn, man, you know, this is just crazy. Yeah, that's the way you think of it. You're just like, oh, well, though, it's almost like taking the real world out of, you know, that's just kind of what you do anyways, you know. I mean, dating and being around people, hell, you don't ever know how many people one person's really talking to, so it's almost like just putting that in perspective of breaking it down and just saying, okay, here, we're going to put y'all under one whole house and let you pick somebody.
Was Big Rig your nickname before you even got on that show?
No, that was actually something that they came up with, and it just stuck ever since, but it makes sense, you know, that's what I do. I drive 18-wheelers, so worked out good. Do
you still drive 18-wheelers, or are you a full-time fighter?
I was in the truck today, man.
Oh.
I've just been messing around, and, you know, that's part of what I do during the summertime, you know. I'll be, you know, home game all over the place.
Back to MMA for a little bit. Where do you train at now?
I'm actually went up to Portland, Oregon, to Sports Lab for this past camp with Mike Pierce and a bunch of guys like that.
Why did you decide to change up training? Because I know for a long time you were at the Hit Squad.
When Matt sold the school, man, it kind of put me, you know, put everything at a standoff just because they were you know, changing over to a different owner, and it was just you know, going to be, everybody just kind of, you know, everybody kind of went their separate ways, so there was really nothing else for me there. You know, nothing is like matter. I mean, because me and Matt were still best friends, me and Ryder Lawler, just everybody just kind of went their own way, so that was another deal with me having to take that layoff in MMA. I was kind of like, hey, look, man, the wrestling is here. That's kind of where it looks like I'm going. So I was like, hell, you know, I'm just going to take a break, you know, kind of put it on hold for a while and see what I can do with this. And if something pops up or someone wants me to fight again, you know, we'll talk to them and see what's happening.
What happened with Strikeforce? Was it just you're from Mississippi, the fight was in Mississippi, so they put you on the card? Was there ever any dialogue for you signing with them? What exactly happened there?
Yeah, whenever I think that was, they knew I was local, they knew who I'd been training with. Of course, I knew Pat Miletich, and we kind of talked to Strikeforce before about me getting with them, and I think that just keeping in contact with them and being in touch with them, they just knew that. Oh yeah, well, we was get him on this show, so that's just kind of how that all happened,
You started your career 2-5. Since then, I believe you're in your last 7. I think you're 5-2. But what changed for you? You went on a good streak in 2010 and in 2011. What changed for you? How were you able to turn this around?
Well, I just kind of put a lot of stuff to the side. A lot of just kind of set things straight. It was just like, what, I started grinding a lot more, like in positioning on, okay, where am I getting caught? What are the things that I need to fix? Really dug deep into my wrestling, because that's kind of what I really like. I just fell in love with wrestling, ever since I started. So I'm like, man, I just want a real strong wrestling game, and you work, just doing it, just day by day. So I just took it to another level, and just really just beat my head, really just put myself all in there, and just made it come together.
What areas of the game do you think that you need to improve on the most? I mean, because
everything. There's not just one thing that I could say I need to improve on, and that's it. I mean, I can improve on stand-up wrestling. I've got a world of things I can improve on. I think that anybody should be like, I improve every day. There's a lot. You don't ever stop learning, and that's with me. I've never stopped learning. I try to improve on something every camp, every fight. I'm gonna do something that's just better and better. That's me. It's just to improve on the whole fight game and its whole area.
Jeremiah, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you would like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
Yeah, man. I'd like to thank my team up there at Sports Lab. Phil Card, the owner, and then the science and the genius behind it. I'd like to thank Robert Paulus, wrestling coach, Andy Minster, boxing coach up there. I'd like to thank Mike Pierce, Dave Jensen, Ian Loveland. All them guys up there at Sports Lab in Oregon. Thanks for all the support and the help this camp. I'd like to send a shout out down to Derek Campos, and him and his dad came through for me down in New Orleans, helped me out a lot. Last Round Nutrition, Dave's Custom Meat here in Vicksburg. Just all my fans and family, and everybody out there that supports me. I appreciate that, and I'm gonna keep on keeping on, and just keep giving the fans and everybody what they want to see, man.
Jeremiah, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, man. Everybody can hit me up at Jeremiah Riggs on Twitter or Facebook. Facebook me. So I appreciate you having me on, and everybody just peace out, take it easy.